Lines in the plane. Lines in the plane. Okay, so if you have a line, right, if I have a line graphed, that means that my line has a slope. So if you choose any 2 points on this line, you have x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, how do you find the slope of something?
With the x's and y's.
Slope is what? Change in?
A direction.
Yes, but it's what over what? How do you find the slope of something?
Y equals m minus y.
No, that's slope-intercept form. So that's good, but slope.
X3 minus x1.
The slope equals the change in y over the change in x. So you're doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Change in y over change in x. Okay? Where x1 cannot equal x2, because if you did, you have a 0 on the bottom and you have something that is undefined. So if they give us 2 points and they say find the slope, we're going to do 2 of these. Find the slope. The first one, the points they give us are -2, 0, and 3, 1. How would I set that up to find the slope of that? How would you set up to find the slope?
1 minus.
Yep, 1 minus 0 over 3 minus -2. So you get 1 over 5. Your slope is 1/5. Okay, here's another one. What if you have 0, 4, and 1, -1? How do you set that one up?
4 minus 1, about -1.
4 minus -1 over
0 minus 1.
over 0 minus 1. So here I get 5 over -1, which gives me -5 as my slope. Okay? So that's the first thing that you are doing on your homework tonight. You are finding slopes. Okay? After you find slopes, the slope of a line, okay, we have to then classify what type of slope is happening. The slope of a line, there are 4 types that we can talk about. The first one is a line with a positive slope. If it is a positive slope, okay, that means that the slope is greater than 0. It also means that it's rising from the left to right. Okay, that's one type of slope you can have. The second is you can have a negative slope, okay? Negative slope means that the slope is less than 0 and it is falling from the left to right. The third kind you can have a line with a 0 slope. That's where the slope equals 0. Slope equals 0, and that is just a horizontal line. And then you can have something that is undefined, an undefined slope. And that is where your slope is vertical. Boys. So that is finding slopes. The next thing you need to realize is point slope form of an equation. If they give you a point and they give you a slope, you're going to have to create equations off of it. Okay? Point slope form. Does anybody know what point slope form looks like? It's y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. So you need a point and you need a slope to create this equation. So it says find an equation of a line that passes through the points 1, -2. That passes through 1, -2 and has a slope, okay, and has a slope of 3. Okay, how can I plug that into that formula to solve? What do I need to do? What, and put them where? What? 1 minus what? Good. 1 minus -2 equals
Or 3.
3 times
1. No,
x minus 1. Good. Now I am going to simplify, distribute, all that stuff. So here I get 3x, here I get 3 times -1, so -3. I subtract 2 from both sides, and I want to make sure that this equation ends in y equals mx plus b form. Y equals 3x minus 5. Now it is in slope-intercept form, so I can graph it. Okay, so your final solution is slope-intercept form. Make sure on your homework you show me work. Because on your test, if you don't show me work, I'm just counting it wrong. What happens if they say, find an equation of this line that passes through these 2 points? Find an equation of the line that passes through 6, 2 and -3, -1. How do you do that? Do you have a point and a slope? Can I put it in point slope form? I have a point and a slope right now. I don't have a slope, but can I find a slope? How?
Y equals 1 or y2 minus y1.
Okay, so -1 minus 2 over -3 minus 6. You would get -3 up top, you get -9 on the bottom, so you get 1/3 as your slope. Now you have a point and a slope. You can choose either of these points, it doesn't matter which one. Okay, I'm just going to choose 6, 2 since it's right there at the beginning. So y minus 2 equals 1/3 x minus 6. Okay, so once again, I have y minus 2, I distribute the 1/3, equals 1/3 x, and then what is 1/3 times -6? What is -6 divided by 3?
6 divided by 3 is 2.
Yep, -2. Then I add 2 to both sides, okay, and I get y equals 1/3 x. There's the equation. There is no y-intercept, but it's still in slope-intercept form. So that's a way to find if you have a slope and a point. This, you still use point-slope form, but you also use the equation of slope to figure it out when there's just 2 points. When you are sketching a graph in y equals mx plus b form, okay, y equals mx plus b, which is slope-intercept form, okay, I need to sketch a graph of this. So let's say you have an equation that says x plus y equals 2. What do you have to do to that equation before you can sketch it? Can I sketch x plus y equals 2? What form does it need to be in? Y equals mx plus b, so I have to subtract x from both sides, good. And I get y equals negative x plus 2. This is in y equals mx plus b form. How do I sketch this graph? Where is my starting point? 2. I go to 2. What is my slope? Negative x. So down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. Here's the sketch of my graph. Okay? So you're going to have to be able to sketch graphs as well. Okay. So just to recap everything, you have 5 different forms of equations you can see things in. Okay? So there's a summary of equations. And then we'll get started. And all equations can end up being simplified into y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so the first one is your general form. And the general form says ax plus by plus c equals 0. I can get that into y equals mx plus b form very easily. The second form that we talked about is a vertical line. And it is where x equals whatever, okay? The third is a horizontal line. Where y equals b. And the fourth is slope-intercept form that we focused on. Which is y equals mx plus b. You should be most familiar with that. And then the fifth one is point slope form. Where it is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, those are the 5 forms of equations you're going to see. This equation can be turned into y equals mx plus b form. This is already there. This can be turned into y equals mx plus b. If it's just x equals something, you automatically have a vertical line. If it's y equals something, you have a horizontal line. We are going to do homework in just a second. If lines are parallel, what does that mean about their slopes? Yes.
Undefined, equal.
No. Yeah, they're equal. Yes. So if a line is parallel, okay, lines that are parallel have equal slopes. What about lines that are perpendicular? Opposite, not just the opposite reciprocal, okay? So it's opposite sign and it's flipped. Lines that are perpendicular have opposite okay. That is what we're doing today.